what they call me. Promise that you never be lonely.
Guys, it's
Landon
and Talia.
and today we're back with another video. We're gonna be watching scary animated videos or horror stories basically. And I don't know, maybe it's gonna be scary.
That's why Landon's wrapped in a blanket.
Yep.
And I'm not.
I'm pretty cold though. Pretty chilly now. Alright, let's get it. Get my shit up.
This happened when I was in college. I was 20 at the time, studying for an
20 years
upcoming
old.
exam in biology. That is, until my roommate busted in my room. She wasn't yelling, but I could see
Look
she
at
was
that
drunk by her
face.
excitement. I rolled my eyes
Face, though.
inside. I completely lost focus now. But it was okay. I'd kind of gotten used to her behavior. She was a party girl while I was, well, a nerd. I tried to get back on my reading tracks again, but she patted
Hey, never be ashamed of being a nerd. Alright? Just one of those sayings. You know, Talia?
No.
me on the
Yeah,
back and drunkenly giggled before speaking. Come on, Jasmine. Every time I see you, you're always reading a book. I sighed before speaking. And every time I see you, you smell of alcohol and vomit. She frowned at me.
Damn.
How about
Burn.
this? I'll be quiet all week if you come to this party tomorrow at 8. I wanted to say no, but then I thought about it. I mean, I do always work really hard. Besides, she won't barge in like this for the whole week? Sounds too good, I thought to myself. So I nodded and continued to read. We got ready. I hadn't dressed up in ages, so I was kind of excited. The party was loud, filled with drunk people making out, bumping, and dancing.
Wow.
The party was hosted in a basement-like setting, only it was much bigger and had a lot of space. I'm not going to lie, I did have a few drinks. I wasn't drunk, but I was definitely tipsy. So, as my
Tipsy
view
it
became
is.
tilted, this guy comes out of nowhere and has
Is that
small
the guy
talk
who
with
eats
me.
flesh?
He was fairly attractive.
Drugs.
He didn't seem drunk. We met and exchanged names. From what I remember, he had red-dyed hair and blue eyes. He was
Looks like
white and
yours.
about 6 feet. His name was Luke. We laughed and talked about topics like studying and books and that kind of thing. The talking went on
He's
for
gonna be
about a half an
creeper.
hour.
Bet.
He
Creeper.
then said,
Stalker.
"Hey, I'm going to get another drink. Want anything?" And I said, "Why not? I mean, I'm having fun." So later on, he came back with drinks. And the next thing I remember, we were making out in the corner of the party room. It was so quick. And then he asked me,
Wow.
"Want to go back to my place?"
No.
Which I politely
Okay,
declined.
no.
I already
She's
know
like,
what he
"No."
wants. Besides, I needed to be on campus in the morning. Come on, I promise it will be fun. I
Older
remember
guys.
that he kept on
Eating
trying to get me to
flesh
go, but
for you.
he gave up after I made it clear I wasn't interested in
This
going
is how
to
you
his
eat flesh
place.
again.
He rolled his eyes angrily and gave me a paper with a number on it. Fine. If you change your mind, give me a call. He leaned close to me and whispered against my ear. Then he walked out, and the rest of the night was a complete blank. The next day, I woke up inside my college bedroom, on my bed, next to my roommate snoring on her bed as well. As I got up to shower, a paper fell out of my pocket. It was the number, which made me remember that guy. But I had more important things now. I showered then and went to study. I remember reading my book when all of a sudden I felt dizzy. Then I woke up in the bed with police officers and nurses talking next to me. Turns out I had this dangerous allergic reaction that could only be caused from saliva or any bodily fluids that had come from decaying or rotting flesh. Which, to my
Oh.
surprise, was
Oh,
weird.
that is
I hadn't been
gross.
kissing anyone, let alone ate anything raw. Then I remembered the guy. I told the police about the guy at the party and gave them the number he gave me. A few weeks passed and my allergies went down, so I could live my life
He
normally.
eats flesh.
I just finished my
bet.
test when my
Flesh and
phone
then
rang.
He's a
This is
I
cannibal.
answered it, and it was the police.
But-
Turns out the guy from the party had 2 dead, decaying women's bodies inside his apartment that he ate.
Damn.
They must have been there for months. My heart dropped.
She's about to be
The
one
thought
of those.
that I made out with someone who ate human flesh. Or
She
even
could have been the
worse,
next victim.
was what if I had agreed to come to his place? I may have been one of those bodies.
Damn, look at that. the hell eats a dead body? What? But really, like, what? That's just hella weird.
You're weird too.
Can you agree? Who the hell eats dead bodies
I know.
and still lives with their lives?
Are you
Let's
still
get
allowed
it.
to say bad words?
Yeah.
When I was in the 7th grade, I heard about astral projection for the first time and thought the idea seemed pretty
Astral
cool.
projection.
Who wouldn't want an out-of-body experience and travel around the world? Anyways, I've been attempting it for several months to no avail. I did doubt it wasn't real and eventually stopped attempting it. Then one day on a January, I decided to hit the bed at around 7 p.m. to take a nap, and the next second I began to feel I was being pulled out of my body as a strong vibration feeling overcame me, similar to that body feeling you get from a strong nicotine rush. I then was floating in my room and felt a presence right behind me, but didn't think much of it. It wasn't a good presence, more of a demonic one. Despite there being my family in the home awake, I didn't see anyone there, and only the light that illuminated the stairway was on. Everything also had a blue tint to it, and I could see clearly in the dark.
Right, he
I
got
had
to
to
be
swim
in a
through the air to
spirit
be able to
world.
move,
Oh, I thought
and
he was
went through
probably
my door,
He
Yeah,
got in
and
the
swam
spirit
my way
world.
downstairs.
Yeah, spirit world.
I decided to
It's
go
kinda spirit
up
world
and through the
stuff.
ceiling, and
Like
then through the
on,
roof,
the
and explore
Avatar.
this new plane of existence.
This kid got some
However,
superpowers.
as I went through the ceiling, I saw this creature rushing towards the stairs, and it stopped as soon as I stopped moving to see it. I could only see the back of it from the right side of it since it was blocked by a wall, but it had
Looks
yellow
like a
skin,
goblin, bro.
pointy, elongated ears, a
Devil.
tail
That
that's
goblin!
medium-sized,
It's a
and it
goblin.
appeared to be as tall as I was at the
Yeah, I
time,
know, bro. It looks like a
5'6".
goblin. Took form as a
I
goblin.
stared
dude.
at it for a
Wow.
few seconds,
A goblin
frozen in
doesn't have a
fear,
tail.
and before
Or
I
a
knew it,
horn.
I was awake, back in my bed. I looked at my clock and several minutes had passed by. I don't know what to think of that, but it was an interesting experience.
My invisible. That was
Alright.
scary.
When it says invisible playmate, if it's possessed by a doll, that is just messed up.
Or
You see,
anything that is connected. To
yeah, one time my sister brought home a creepy ass doll, and my mom threw it away so many times, but it kept on coming back. So I'm pretty sure she did something with it, and it never returned. But remember, don't use crazy dolls, alright? Creepy dolls.
When I
okay?
was 8 years old, I didn't have any friends. My mom wouldn't allow me to play outside with the other kids in our neighborhood. I was always alone. The only playmates I had were my cousins and my brother, but it took 3 hours and 25 minutes to get to their houses. One day,
Your
my
brother
mom let
doesn't
me
live
play
with you?
outside with the kids in our neighborhood for the first
I know,
time
right?
because she was going somewhere, maybe to work or to run errands. I got my dolls and other toys and was excited to play with the kids outside. When I got there, no one wanted to play with me. The attempt was useless, but then someone approached me. He had puppy eyes and was cute. We quickly became playmates.
Please, sure.
Even though he was a boy, he would join me for tea parties.
How would you take a stranger into your house?
He kind of looks dirty. Like maybe he could be like a dead person, like a ghost or something. This dude looks dirty.
An invisible playmate. Of course it is.
Alright. Ghost
My
wants
dolls.
to play with her.
He also invited me to play with him at his house. But I was confused
Gosh,
because his
dude.
house
Look at
looked
that.
old and
His house looked like it
abandoned.
broke. Yeah,
Like it
abandoned
hadn't
house.
been cleaned up for almost 12 years. We
Really
decided to
bad.
go play in his garden. When we got there, I puked. I didn't know why at the time, but for some reason, I was
He's
disgusted.
using his energy.
Make that pig squeal.
Yeah, he's using his energy
Yeah,
off
thank you.
it.
Oh, I know. I had this game and I deleted it because I didn't need it and I didn't play it.
It's ads.
So.
Hey, I don't like ads.
He
Ads
didn't
is
offer
stupid.
me water or anything. He just looked at me grinning and said, "Next time, you're going to sleep here too." 2
Alright,
weeks
that is
after that
creepy.
upsetting experience, I
Hey, if you have a
Hour
friend like
of it.
that, just run. Don't ever see him
Oh,
again.
now she's connected to him. So.
Looking for him.
Yeah.
A paper airplane flew to me out of nowhere. I picked it up, and when I opened it, I was shocked, scared, and sad. It was a newspaper clipping. The boy that I played with went missing 9 years ago.
What?
I ran to
the-
my bedroom, and I saw a shadow through my window. I looked at it closely, and it was the boy. He was smiling.
Damn.
Today, I'm 19 years old, and I still remember that part of my childhood so clearly.
His house is.
Literally right there. Man who escaped from prison broke into my house. Alright, that is scary too.
That is scary. Oh wait, that happened to
Oh.
Aunt Shayla.
Ooh, that is scary. Okay, so whenever you see like a dude that is missing and you see him, just like move. Just like move out of that whole entire place. It's gonna be scary.
If you have no money.
If you have enough
One
money.
day, when I was about 6 or 7 years old, my mom had gone to my older sister's recital in Georgia, and my dad was at work. He was a pilot for some airline. So she left me and my older brother, who was only 12 at the time, at the sitter's house, which was a few blocks away from my house.
Okay, sorry guys, but I forgot to mention this in the first part of the video. But tomorrow we're going to SmackDown Live, and if you don't know what that, SmackDown Live tomorrow, and if you don't know what that is, it's a wrestling TV show.
Which will probably be going live there. It's gonna be really cool. We might be able to see some wrestlers, you know. Pretty sick. Let's get back to the video.
Oh, Kofi Kingston.
My sitter, who I'm gonna call Bev,
Bailey.
was 19, and she was pretty much the best kind of sitter to a 6 to 7-year-old boy could ask for.
What's gonna happen?
She'd let us play games and stay up watching TV, as long as we didn't bother her while she was on the phone with her boyfriend. We were watching TV, and we could hear something scratching the paneling on the side of the house. Naturally, we blew it off as a stray animal, so we continued watching TV.
What the hell? Who
About
would do
30
that?
minutes
You
to
would
an
think it
hour
was a
later,
stray animal,
Bev ran into
but
the
that's
living
really
room and
hard.
locked the front door and shut the blinds. We were curious as to what she was doing. Me and my brother, being kids, got scared and started crying. Then Bev said everything would be okay. It was just a peeping Tom.
Peeping Tom.
So she
What?
took us upstairs and
What
we
does
went
that
to her
mean?
parents' room with the Nintendo and some snacks. She said stay put and not to touch anything we didn't bring into the room.
Alright, when a parent does that, or like a babysitter, it means that something is happening, and be afraid, alright? Something could go down that you don't want and could hurt you.
Not a minute later after she walked out of the room, we heard a loud crash and glass shattering in the room
Oh,
below us.
damn. You
The
breaking in.
sicko had thrown a brick from the walkway through the guest bedroom window and managed to get in. I remember Bev running into the room and pulling us into the closet, telling us we were going to play a game of hide and seek and to be very quiet. She got out of the closet
But
and locked it from the outside latch and disappeared. Several minutes passed and we could hear a grown man screaming, come out wherever you are. I only want to play." Then I heard what sounded like water running in the bathroom across from the closet. Then it shut off. And I heard Bev yelling something at the man. It was something like, "The police are on their way. You better get out of my fucking house now."
Okay, that's funny. Oh my god. Who would do that?
And then sirens
but
wailing
that's
in the
love
distance.
language. We didn't
Savage.
know
Bev
that.
shrieked, and we heard a loud thud.
That's a good babysitter. It's a brave one.
She was also scared.
Yeah, it's true.
On the ground below us.
That was funny.
Bev had managed to find an old wooden bat. As the man turned a corner to go out the front door, Bev swung the bat as hard as
Oh,
she could,
damn.
knocking the man to the floor. Dazed, he got up and tried chasing her outside, but the cops had already arrived and
There
tackled
we
the man
go.
on sight.
There we go. That's good.
My mom came home immediately and took me, my brother, and Bev back to my house. A few years later, she explained that the man was a known sex offender and had escaped from prison. In the report, he was said to be carrying a rather large knife in his pocket and had a Saturday night special tucked
They're
away
lucky.
in the waist of his pants.
School lockdown.
It happened last year in 2018 when I was still in my second year of
That's
high
actually
school.
pretty close to what
It
we
was
are in
earlier March
2019.
that I was in school. We were just playing some quiz game on my laptop. I connected it to the projector for all of them to see. But then suddenly the school's fire alarm went off. They said this isn't a drill, but rather a maniac just entered our school with a gun. So all of us closed the door and the window to our classroom and switched off the lights. It was all silent, like you could hear a pin drop to the floor. At first I wasn't panicking that much, but it all started to happen when a gunshot was heard from the distance of our room. I can assume that he already knows that we're here. We are the closest room from the entry hall. Every single one of my classmates was crying. I'm the tallest and the oldest student of them all. I'm 16 and some of them are 15 and 14 and another one is 12. So I thought, I'm the oldest.
That's so
I should
young.
protect them. I was like that. So then I grabbed the fire extinguisher in our room, because every single room in my
Brave.
school has a fire blanket and a fire extinguisher, just in case of a fire. I had a stupid plan inside my head that I'll spray him with the fire extinguisher. So then I opened our room door, and I came across it. He was a middle-aged man, wearing a white tank and black slacks. He was holding a .44 Magnum caliber revolver. At first, we were having a quick draw match, like that. He grabbed his gun first and pulls the trigger. I can feel my heart beating fast, and just then he aimed the gun at me, but it didn't shoot at all. He forgot to cock his gun, so then it's my chance to hit him with the fire extinguisher and knock him out. After that, the police arrived and every student was reunited with their family. And still, I'm wondering, what could have happened if he didn't forget to cock his gun
He
and
was dead.
shoot me first?
And then everyone will die.
Yeah, he would have basically just killed everybody.
If you didn't-
Creatures Horror Story Anime.
My name is Magda, and I'm
Creatures.
26 years old.
Wait, what is
I
this?
work in an office in the
creatures.
city. On the weekends, I used to love to get away from all the hustle and bustle and take a trip to the countryside. Luckily, I have a cottage in a small village which is located right at the edge of the forest.
Wow.
How I used to love to get out of the city and spend the weekend in my little cottage. Why did I stop? Well, I'll tell you. After a hard week at work, I needed to rest, so I decided to get out of town. I went home, packed my bags, threw them in the trunk, and drove off. When I arrived in the village, it was late in the evening and I was tired from the long drive. I went straight to bed and fell asleep quickly. In the middle of the night, I was awakened by the sound of my car alarm going off.
You damn.
I looked out the window, but there was nobody in sight. I found my car keys, pressed the button to shut off the alarm, and the awful
We were
noise
watching it
stopped.
together.
I lay back down and
Well,
tried
it
to fall
was 2
asleep.
days ago.
All of a
It was like
sudden,
with the
the
goblins
alarm went
and
off again. I didn't feel like getting up, so I just grabbed my keys and pressed the button once more. Everything was peaceful and quiet again. However, 5 minutes later, the alarm went off a third time. Once or twice could have been an accident, but now I was wondering what was going on. Could someone be playing tricks on me in the middle of the night? I got
Somebody
up again
kill
and
you.
pressed the button to turn off the alarm. But this
That
time,
is some
I didn't lay
creepy-ass-
back down. I stood at the curtains and watched. After a few minutes, I saw something by the light of the moon. A shadow emerged from the bushes and slowly approached the car. I could just about make out the shape. It was something tall, skinny,
I can't even
and
see
black. The
Hey,
figure
pause,
reached
pause,
out with its
pause.
long,
Yeah, I need to up my brightness. Ah.
thin arms and knocked on the car. The alarm went off again, and quick as a flash, the dark figure retreated back into the bushes. At that moment, I realized what was going on and began shaking with fear. I turned
Home
off the
invasion.
alarm and continued to watch. The thing emerged from the bushes again,
slid silently over to the gates, threw a hand through them, and removed the partition holding the gates closed. I was paralyzed with fear, and I couldn't move. My mind was overcome by panicked thoughts. What
Get out of
was
the
it?
house, bro.
What did it want from me? What was it doing? Would it ever go away? A shiver ran through my body, from my head down to my toes. My mouth was dry and my heart was beating fast. I was so tense, I was gritting my teeth and clenching my hands into fists. I regained control of myself and ran down the stairs as fast as my legs could carry me to the ground floor. I wanted to look for something I could use to protect myself. However, just as I was about to switch on the lights, I suddenly froze in my tracks. The dark figure was at the window. It was pressed up against the glass, staring in, looking to see whether or not there was someone home.
Damn.
I immediately ducked down behind the sofa and peered out. That's when I realized what all those tricks with the car were for. It was trying to lure its victim outside. I couldn't take my eyes off its hideous face. Its skin was the color of ash and covered with wrinkles. Its eyes were small, beady, and completely black.
Humanoid
Instead of it
figure.
having a nose, there were two ragged holes. It didn't have any lips, just 2 rows of sharp, yellow
Ugh.
teeth. When
That
it
dude's
breathed,
ugly as hell.
It was so heavy and hoarse that it was misting up the window. I just knew it wasn't going to go away. After standing at the window for a few moments, I heard a rustling noise as it came to the front door. I watched as it tried to push its fingers through the gap under the door. The handle began to twitch wildly up and down. The creature emitted a chilling sound. It was not like a human voice. It was a deep, beastly growl, like an angry dog chewing on a bone. I knew that if it heard me, it would keep trying until it found a way to get into the house. I crouched down behind the sofa, hiding in the shadows and desperately trying not to make a sound.
I would never go
Tears
there,
began involuntarily streaming down my face. No matter how much I tried to stop them, I could feel my pulse pounding in my temples, and I was shaking like a leaf, just waiting for it to end. I don't know how long I cowered there. I must have been passed out. When I woke up and looked out the window, the creature was gone. The door was still in place and everything seemed secure. I've never been so relieved in all my life. I ran upstairs and looked out the window. It was light outside and there was no sign of anything wrong. Taking a chance, I grabbed my keys and without stopping to collect any of my things, I ran out to the car. I jumped in, locked the doors, and drove away from the village as fast as I could. I didn't stop driving until I got back to the city. When I got back to my apartment, I turned on the radio and heard a news report. The announcer said that, in the village, the dead bodies of 2 girls had been discovered. Their corpses had been mutilated and dumped in a swamp. I guess the creature found what it was looking for. I don't want to, but I am curious to know. What would have happened if I didn't make the right decision of sprinting?
Damn. Alright guys, we're gonna stop the video right here. It's been a long torture moment right now. Half these were scary, some weren't as scary, but it's all good. Subscribe, leave a like, subscribe down below, and let's get it. See you guys later.
Hellcat.